Hello and welcome. This is Eric from AD Racing Central. If you're planning on starting a YouTube channel, you will probably be surprised about how much some viewers who like your content are willing to do to support you. With AD Racing Central, I've received support on numerous occasions. In one of my first videos, about 5 reasons why you should try Red Dead 2, I was allowed to record gameplay from top players in the community. And before I knew it, some of the best Wipeout players out there wanted to race with me on my live streams. I could not have arranged my Wipeout 24-day tournament without these guys and girls. There are of course more things like the super chats I've received, as well as the people who volunteered to moderate my Discord channel. You guys know who you are. But in this video I want to mention a certain gentleman who put a lot of time into something that is truly helpful for my channel. I'm talking about Thomas Judge, who sent me a letter all the way from the UK, including an SD card that contained a pre-installed emulator with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 62 games already installed and ready to launch as soon as I put the card into my Steam Deck. I really can't stress how nice of a thing this was for a not so computer savvy guy like me. I probably could have done it with a guide or two, but I don't even dare to think about the time it would have taken. We will of course talk about the games on the emulator, but before anything else I want to mention Thomas Judge's channel that you'll find a link to in the video description. He's an author with a novel series called No Gods or Kings, and he has a YouTube channel about books and visual novels and video games alike. More AD Racing related, you will on his channel also find an unboxing and review video of the book Wipeout Futurism that includes a visual history of the game alongside written information and several high-resolution pictures. Make sure to head on over to Thomas Judge's channel if any of this sounds interesting. Now to the games. I can't use my capture card for the emulator unfortunately, so you'll see some canned footage alongside footage I captured through other means. Of course there was a PS1 emulator in the package with all versions of Wipeout available. The first Wipeout from 1995, as awesome as it may be, has perhaps not completely stood the test of time from a gameplay perspective. It does however stand as a benchmark in video gaming history as a game where the visual and audio presentation was just as important as the gameplay itself, that paved the way for the style that the series came to adopt over the years. The sequel, Wipeout 2097/XL, was more or less just bigger and better, and the original trilogy culminated with Wipeout 3, that I think is a game that actually is still worth playing, even when compared to games that are available today. The visual design is even better here, and several more teams were added, each with a distinct look, that really differentiate them from one another without leaving the core design language established a few years prior. The history of Wipeout is worth making a video about in itself, but there were other games given to me as well. We also had all 3 games from the Jet Rider/Jet Moto series. The first 2 are actually available in the Retro Collection on the PlayStation Plus Premium service, which is where the footage you are currently watching was captured from. In these games you control a futuristic jet ski that hovers above the ground or skims across water surfaces. With real brands in the game, the whole concept of a futuristic racing league is sold quite well, even with the graphical limits. The physics mechanics in these games are spot on as well, as you need to control how your jet ski tilts in the air in multiple axes, and the vehicle really have some weight to them. Game 3 that I now can play on the emulator seemed to crack everything up to 11, as it includes a more ambitious cutscene and much faster gameplay among other things. This series is really cool overall, so expect more videos about it. There's actually no shortage of F-Zero games that are available to play on the Nintendo Switch, with multiple Game Boy Advance titles alongside a timeless classic that is F-Zero X, originally released for the N64. However, the highly esteemed F-Zero GX is only available on the original GameCube consoles and of course also for emulator users, which means I can finally play the game that so many of my viewers have talked about. From both a gameplay and technical perspective, F-Zero GX definitely still holds up, so I can see why the game is still so popular. The pace is super fast, and I'm very well aware that this game gets very challenging on the higher difficulties. I'm also looking forward to following the in-game story and unlocking new ships and pilots. Another noteworthy game available on the GameCube emulator is the 3rd edition in the Extreme G series, one of the few games where you control a futuristic motorbike. The first game is also available in the N64 collection on the Nintendo Switch, and is actually still worth checking out as the gameplay is still solid and it also has a number of weapons and gadgets to use that are unique even with today's standard. Game number 2 is ported for PC and is available on Steam for a cheap price. However, Extreme G3 is the game held in highest regard by the players, and it actually still has an active speedrunning community. I've only been able to briefly try the game out, but I can't wait to play it some more. There are more I want to mention, like that I can finally play Wipeout Fusion that I completely missed back during the PS2 era, and Thomas also added a couple of Biker Mice from Mars games, one of my favorite cartoon shows from my youth. Fast RMX is one of the best AD racers on Nintendo Switch, and on the emulator I now have the first 2 games for Wii and Wii U respectively. There were also numerous racing games I didn't even know existed, and I can't thank Thomas Judge enough for this gift. If you know about the racing game only available on Emulator, feel free to mention it in the comment. For more content about AD Racing, click on this video. Thank you for watching. I am Eric from AD Racing Central, and I'll see you in the next video.